So, hello everyone. We'll be presenting the project on personalized government scheme recommendation system. So the vision of this process is to simplify access to government assistance by creating a personalized platform that matches individuals with most relevant schemes offered by the government, and it'll be based on their unique demographics and socioeconomic profiles. So why do we need such a platform? So firstly, millions of citizens are unaware of or struggle to find the right government programs that they qualify for. And secondly, it's just too complex for searching for these programs, and it's very time consuming and overwhelming. So now I'll be quickly talking about the data set. So this is the New York's benefits program data set. This provides resources for over 80 health and human services available for New York City, and it has about 11 local languages as well. So we can see some data here, such as program category, government agencies, and even the population served. And yeah, there is more related to that. Next, we will be talking about some benefits that is exclusively for women, and this is from the Open Grants for Women. This gives some data about the scholarships and grants specifically for women in the United States. And lastly, we have data that shows about scholarships for students. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thanks, Aditya. Now I'll be going through the source code. Let me share my screen. Okay. Yeah, so as we have three data sources, let's go ahead with one of each data sources and how we extract the web scraping for each of it. So as you can see, our first data set is the women's grant data set, and we have used request.get to load the website. Then we're using beautiful.soup for passing the HTML content. Then we wanted to create a list which has these three elements: the heading, the funding, and the description. But directly just jumping into the heading, we used a filter category over here using regular expressions. And how we are validating these headings is if the word would have an alphabet, the uppercase or lowercase, no matter, but it should have an alphabet, no numbers or any special cases. And based if it matches that word, if the heading matches that specific regular expression category, then we are continuing with our application, and then we are filtering each of the element that we required, considering the heading, the funding element, as well as the description. After we extracted these values, we are then storing it into our list, which is the grant data list. And afterwards, this is then converted into a data frame using the pandas library. Now, talking about our second data source, which is using the web API, we have used Sorata as well as the login credentials to access this data API. And then this data API gives us a raw data. We convert this raw data into a pandas data frame using the pandas library. And since the data set is a raw data, to filter it out or to extract valuable insights, we need to clean this data set. For cleaning the data set, we have used regular expressions for filtering, considering regular re.sub, which is like the function used for replacing the matching strings to a new string. We can see over here, if we find the list, we replace it with a bullet. Similarly, if we find like the end list or an end of unordered list, we replace that with the new line. And similarly, we are adding other filter categories to get a clean data set. We are then creating a list with the column names which we want to display it to the user, the program description, the required document summary, online help, the enroll, how to apply, enroll online. These are the columns that we want to show the user. And based upon the clean data set, based upon the clean data that we gathered using our filtering mechanism, we are storing this into the list and then converting that into a data frame, and we are sending it back, which we'll see ahead for a filtering logic. Then comes a final data source, which is the scholarship data. Here again, we are accessing the URL through request. and then using Beautiful Soup for passing the HTML content. Now over here, we have a function fetch scholarship detail. So the scholarship URL has multiple URLs in it, which leads us to the specific scholarship. So we've created a function which traces through each scholarship in that page and retrieves us data using Beautiful Soup. We are passing the HTML content, and over here we are using Beautiful Soup to look at the specific label, the award label that would be there in the description. We are filtering that. Apart from that, we are going ahead and writing a function over here to extract other valuable data that we could show the user. Over here, sorry. Over here, we can see that we are using the Beautiful Soup to look through the table of the elements and which is present in the entire page. Going ahead, this table has rows with the information of each specific scholarship. So we are running through each and every row to filter the details, such as we are getting the name, the detailed URL for the scholarship, the available awards, and we have another other factor over here, which is the time frame. So we are considering that as the deadline, and we're stripping it to store that into our list. After we have created this list with the dictionary elements such as name, amount, deadline, awards available, and the URL, we are converting that into a pandas data frame and returning it back to the main application. Now, talking about the main application, initially we have initialized these three empty lists, and using the request.post method, it is used to extract the inputs which the user would be giving us. Now, coming to our logic, we have a logic over here if the user is a female. So since our first data source is respectively for females, we have an input category over here to check if the user is a male or a female. If she's a female, we go further to categorize to filter the available programs based on the selected support type and the category. So if a user enters a specific support category, it filters the description based on the word that it matches in the program description. And further, similarly, if there's a sector category in it, among the program names that they have gathered, it narrows it down to the specific category, and that's what we are giving our user ahead. Secondly, we have the New York dataset that we scrape through the web scraping API. And over here, we are filtering it based upon the program category and the age group. So if a user enters a specific category, we filter that from the available data that we have scrapped, and we match through the specific age group that the user has entered. One additional complexity that we found over here, that the entire data set that we had a lot of entries over there where the program was available for everyone. So to further categorize who is everyone under this, we did a little bit of research, and coming under everyone would be a user who would be 25 and above, and that's what we have written in our logic. We are taking the input from the user as 25 and above, and in the index.html we have a logic that we are sending 25 and above as everyone to the Python code back. And then in our Python code, we check the filter is everyone present in our data set, and that's how we are returning the program description and program details back to the user. So this is just the filtered list that we have created, and that's what we're giving to a user back. Now, lastly would be the scholarship data set. So being if the user is a student or not, we check, and then we go ahead and filter it to give the scholarship details. We retrieve details such as the time frame over here, and based upon whatever the user enters the time period, we are checking what is the available program in the next 30, 60 or 90 days, and we filter it down and give it to the user, that if a user enters 30, then in the next 30 days, what are the programs available, we would retrieve that as a data to the user. And this storing the entire thing in the list and then giving it back to the user. This was the Python code. We have integrated our code with Flask, which is a web-based framework, which is really helpful for us to connect with the user and get inputs and run a Python code. I would like Phoebe to show the test cases for our program.
Thank you, Lisa. Let me share my screen. Okay, so I am excited to present our Government Grant and Scholarship Finder application, which is a platform designed to help users easily find relevant financial aid, scholarship, and government programs. Our application has the following core features. First of all, it is the user-friendly filtering. The user can filter programs based on several parameters, such as gender, program category, age group, support type, and sector category. Also, if you're a student, students can search for scholarships by specifying how soon they need funding. For example, within 30 days, 60 days, or even 1 year. Now let's dive into how this application works. I will show you a step-by-step example to demonstrate the features. Step 1, accessing the application. Once the application is running, the user can access it through a web browser. The home page contains a form where users can input their search preferences. Step 2, filling in the form. So this is our first test case, finding a technology scholarship for women. So let's say we have a user who is a female, so we select the female here. And she is looking for grants specifically in the technology sector. Here is how we would search for relevant programs. For the gender part, we select female. And for the support type, let's choose scholarship since our user is specifically looking for educational opportunities. Program categories, let's select technology from the sector category dropdown. And she's currently not a student, so we do not have to check the student box. And maybe she is also caring about like housing grants, and she is 25 and above. So here we just simply click the search button. Here you can see these programs for the women. And there are so many programs such as like the Craig Newmark Foundation, the Visa Foundation, the Blue Drop ISM community investment. And these are the grants. These are the programs specifically for the housing and also for people who are 25 and above. Test case 2, searching for scholarships for students with deadlines in the next 60 days. And for this test case, let's assume that the user is a male and he is a student, so we click yes. As we said before, we are going to choose the 60 days. And maybe he is not interested in other programs, so simply we just click the search program button. This one would take a few seconds because we are simply pulling the data live from the website. So just give the program a few seconds. Here we go. Since we did not choose the gender as a female and we did not want any other programs, we only show the student scholarship programs. Here we can see the name of the scholarships, the amount, the deadline. If we simply click on more details, this website will lead us to the more detailed website, and you can see more information here. In conclusion, this application offers a simple yet powerful way for the users to find government programs, grants, and scholarships. Thank you so much for your attention.